So I've been cleaning since I was 7. I had the kitchen on Tuesday, the bathroom on Wednesday.
This devastation happens where you get left, you're homeless, you don't have a job, you're trying to figure things out. You say, all right, yo, I'm going to create rubber bands.
If you build something great, it's gonna come. So just focus on building something. Don't focus on how much money you can make. Don't focus on no millions. Focus on building something great.
$27 is what it took for you to get started. 20 of that, which was borrowed. Now you have these multi-million-dollar contracts, but the story doesn't end there. Hey, wait. I know you want to watch this next video, but listen, if you are an entrepreneur, business coach, business consultant, or a small business owner who has a story and wants to learn how to create multiple streams of income from your story, I need you to text me right now, my book, to 646-687-4152. That is my personal number. I have been an author for over 12 years. I've written 10 books. 4 of them have been bestsellers, and I've sold over 100,000 books. But I've also helped a lot of my clients take their expertise and put it into a story, then create multiple streams of income from that. So I want to help you do the same thing. So text my book to 646-687-4152. All right, let's go back to the video. So welcome to another awesome episode of Inside the Vault with Ash Cash, the greatest money mindset show on the planet. I'm excited about this next guest that we have. We are uncovering the stories that are transforming lives through communities, through sheer determination and financial acumen. We got my brother in the building. We have the privilege of speaking to Mr. Mario Kelly, whose incredible journey from having just $27 to his name to building a multi-million-dollar cleaning empire. It really encapsulates the essence of resilience and strategic entrepreneurship. Mario's story is not just about financial success. It's a testament to the power of vision, community impact, and the entrepreneurial spirit that thrives against all odds. Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to put your hands together, put the fire emojis, comments in the chat. Round of applause for my brother, Mr. Mario Kelly.
Oh man, I love that intro, man. That gave me some. It feels like I was coming out of the starting five.
Let's go, brother. And you're also the author of the $27 Millionaire. This is like a long time coming. I obviously I'm a little biased, right? Because I first heard your story on the Earn Your Leisure podcast. Then we got introduced, and you wanted to create a book. So I was your book coach on this book, $27 Millionaire. So I got to really get to know who you are intimately. I've been to Detroit, so you are. I mean, I won't steal the thunder, but I've been to Detroit. But we've connected on a high level a few times. And I consider you a brother. You know what I'm saying? So not just a client that I work with on a book, but like I got to know you. And one of the things, and I don't throw it out loosely, like, it's my brother, because I think that not all skin folk is your kinfolk, right? So there's a lot of people who might not people don't move the right way. And I think what intrigued me about you was, number one, I really don't care how people treat me, right? Because I understand that for the most part, some people look at me as a celebrity, right? So some people look at me as somebody that either is famous, popular, influential, or somebody that's connected. I could probably help you with something or whatever. So nobody really treats me bad, But I care about how people treat other people. Like that's what I care about. Because if I watch you and you treat people bad, then it's just a matter of time when I can't do nothing for you. You're gonna treat me the same way. But you've been consistent. I consistently watch you the way you treat people, even the people. Actually, I want to say that you probably treat the people who can't do anything for you better. Like I've watched you like not panic, but like you really care about people, you know what I'm saying? And so that's where, the connection comes from, the brotherhood comes from. And so it's an honor to have you on here because I feel like people who have platforms have a responsibility to amplify voices of people who are doing amazing work in the community. And so I just wanted to preface that so y'all that are watching could understand what type of person that we're talking to, and we're gonna get into a story. But for those who don't know, in your words, who is Mario Kelly?
Short, Mario Kelly is a father of two. He's a man of God. He's a husband, soon to be husband. Which I kind of cherish that a lot. And my purpose is to help. God put me here to help some cause, somebody get a job, helping the company get some people to get a job. If it's coaching football, if it's coaching mentor, as far as gardener, cleaning company, whatever it is, if I can help you somehow, I'm trying. I hear people talk sometimes about how why you boo like that. Who do I know in that situation? And that's what really excites me and gets me off honestly. Pause. Uh, is I love helping people, man. Honestly, that really it makes me smile. Like every Friday, I used to be so excited after payroll that I had to go home and go to sleep because I was able to pay everybody. My energy level is so high that it's like I'm exhausted, like after a basketball game. So I'm really a man of God, and I'm here to help however I can help.
Yeah, I think one of the things like early on, kind of talk to you and just kind of realizing your story. One of the things that intrigued me, I remember you was like, man, I've employed over 2,000 formerly incarcerated men and women.
Yes.
And I've given them jobs, and that's something dear to my heart because many people may know or may not know that I have a nonprofit organization called Abundance Goal, creating opportunities despite the environment, where we teach financial literacy and entrepreneurship for formerly incarcerated men and women. And so when I heard that was something that you did as well, it was just like treating to me. And then again, as I got to hear more about your story, I realized where that passion comes from. So take us, and so obviously somewhat, I mean, I said it in the intro. He has a book called The $27 Millionaire. So obviously, he's been able to generate millions of dollars through his businesses and his investments and things that he's doing. But before we get there, take me back, man. Take me to Mario, your upbringing, what shaped you into the man that you are right now.
I would have to say it was my mother. Yeah, my mother being a God-fearing lady. She grew up in Catholic schools and different things like that. So that she put that on us, but at the same time, it was about helping people and getting up and go try to get you a job of some sort. There's a place in the city of Detroit called the Easter Market. I started working there. I was probably about 8 years old, going down there. If it was just taking off the fruits off the truck or helping bag the fruit up or going to the grocery store, asking people, can we take your groceries to the car? My mother instilled that. She used to tell me it was illegal not to have enough money in your pocket to make a phone call. So that's been in my mind my whole life. So it's all about trying to get some money, help somebody, and then make sure everything, all your blessings don't make it God.
Did you grow up was it rough growing up in Detroit, or was it like easy breezy? Like what was
No, I grew up in the project, so it was very rough. Section 8, or they call it Section 8 now. So it was very hard. I won't say very hard, but it was a trying time for my mother. People getting killed down there. Drugs being sold, prostitution, everything you can think of was going on in the 80s, early 90s in the city of Detroit in those projects.
And how did you escape? Like, how did you not fall victim to, life, street life? You know what I'm saying?
It was two things. Sports. And my mother had a double snakeskin belt. Yes, So those are the two things that I remember one time I was in high school and we were over there gambling and the police came and I was the only one that got caught. And I begged him, like, please don't let my mother know. Like, I'd rather for y'all to take me to jail than to let my mother know. But sports, no, I didn't meet my dad until I was 35 on Facebook.
Wars. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I've heard about my father, growing up, but I never met him until was 35 years old. I just looked him up.
He wasn't in your life at all. Just
Not at all. Not at all.
all right.
Never.
How did that affect you growing up?
Well, I had some great males in my life. You know what I'm saying? With my uncle was like my father. My brother, I mean, is my father. He had 14-year difference. And he graduated from high school when he was 15. He moved to New York and just started living his life. But he's always installed the fundamentals, respect, work ethic into me as a young man. So I don't even really look at him as a brother. I damn near look at him like almost like my father figure. It's kind of a scary type. You know how kind of that small little fear factor you have for your father. So that's how I look at my brother. But all my basketball, football coaches. So I was an elite athlete. So principals, coaches always adapted to me, and they were always those males that were in my life. But it's never nothing like having your own father in you who can install that discipline, because those coaches can only go so far.
Right. All right. And so now fast forward, right? You at a point where you down to your last $27. Like what are the circumstances that got like $27? Like take us through that journey, brother.
Really, it wasn't even 27. I had 7 and somebody loaned me 20.
Or
This is pre-pandemic. This is like early 2020. And I was selling the rubber bands. It wasn't no more going outside. Wasn't no more. You just had to stay in the house. Didn't have a job, and then I was just sitting in the house, literally watching CNN.
But real quick about like before then, right? You mentioned the rubber bands, because the rubber bands have a significant aspect to your story. So I don't want to blaze over that. So tell us that story first.
So 2016, I came home to my ex-wife, had gave me $1,500 in a Dear John letter out of $250,000. And I tell that story because you have to control the controllables. And I feel like that was the only way I got past that, because most men, knowing that the ex-wife, girlfriend, or whatever it may be, has $250,000 and she's left, you gonna go find her. You gonna go like, girl, get in this car. You ain't going nowhere.
Okay, so just to be clear, just so I can give context behind it, is you're married.
Yes.
And y'all, do you accumulate the money together, or so somehow she has access to $250,000?
Life insurance policy.
Okay, so y'all married. The money's not involved. She gets access to $250,000, and then shortly after she leaves, or
she was ready to. We had got married in June. This happened around October.
Yeah.
Fresh. She said she wanted to travel the world without answering no question. She wanted to. Didn't want.
Once she got the money.
Once she got the money, her mind changed around. Like, I want to travel the world.
To death to his part.
Yeah. No, that was out the door.
Yeah.
She didn't want to answer no questions. She wanted to do what she wanted to do, move around, and I couldn't say anything. I just had to get my stuff together.
Yeah.
Yeah. She actually told me. I told everything that I'm doing now. I brought it to her. Let's start a staffing company. Let's sell egg rolls. When I told her about the staffing, she said, "Well, you started, and then come to the table with like 50,000." I'm like, 50,000. So left me 1,500, and what I ended up doing was going to a website called Made in China. And the first thing I thought about, like, what would Jesus do at this time? And we had some bands, rubber bands back in the day that said WWJD. So I thought about, let's make some Believe rubber bands. And this is when the city was like kind of on the uprise. I said, I'm gonna go downtown and start selling them to make the city believe again, to make them believe in themselves. So I ordered the rubber bands for 7 cents, went down there, and I would just ask a person, do you believe in yourself? Or do you believe in the city? I say, yeah. I would say, okay, make a donation. And whatever you gave me, it was, I mean, if you gave me $1, you know, I'm up 93 cents.
Facts. Yeah, 7 cents. Yeah.
So that's how that started. And I just grinded it. I used it like a job, you know, so I know I can get 1,000 rubber bands for a few $100s. The first $200-300 I get some more rubber bands and use it like that until I
Z up.
Yeah, this is like most definitely a re-up. That's what my mindset was, and was able to grind up on 17,000 out of that.
Nice.
Yeah,
Off of rubber bands.
off of all rubber bands.
Wow. Okay.
And at this time, I'm staying in my van. You know, and then
So after the divorce, you didn't have no place to stay.
nowhere.
So now you got wait. So you got so you were how long were you with your ex-wife before you got married?
We was together before we got married, probably about 2.5 years. 3 years.
So 2.5 years, y'all together, decide to get married, and then she gets a $250,000 check.
Yeah,
Says, you know what? I'm good.
I want to travel the world.
I want to travel the world. Here's $1,500, and you don't have a place to stay. So now you're living in your van.
Living in the van. So when she gave me the 1,500, I did actually try to get in contact with her that day. The next day, I would say about 2.5 days later, I seen her on Facebook in Dubai. So, you know, she was buying red bottoms and doing all this and traveling, you know, just doing what she wanted to do.
Wow.
So
But God is great, right?
God-
because
God-
because
time.
I've spent some time, you know what I'm saying, with your lady, with your queen, which I didn't know your ex-wife, but just knowing you, that connection is like, I love it. Like I love the connection. I love the dynamic duo, right? Y'all really complement each other. So I think that, things happen for a reason.
Yes.
Had that not happened, then you wouldn't be with your queen today. Also the fact that this pushed you, right? Because it pushed you into sort of like survival mode.
Most definitely.
And I know, like, every time God put, I'm actually excited about survival mode. Every time like God pushes me, almost off the ledge, I get it. I'm like, all right, it's time. Something's you know what I mean? Something about the brew. So yeah.
Yeah. So I ended up staying in the van, and I live on the east side of Detroit. Well, that's where I grew up at. So I started learning about manifestation, and they started talking about how if there's something that you want, put yourself in that place. You know, your mind is, you can manifest, you can bring anything to you. So I said, well, let me figure out where there's a part of the city where there's no abandoned houses. I can walk my dog. I didn't even have a dog at the time. Never had a dog. I can walk my dog, and let my kids go to the gas station by themselves. And there was one particular area called Rosedale Park. In Detroit. So I started driving over there at night and staying in my van in front of somebody's house. And in my mind, this was my house. So every night, I actually had 2 nights where one person came out, the police came out. So I was really manifesting that this was the neighborhood I wanted to live in. Now I got 17,000 off rubber bands, and I'm just riding around the neighborhood one day in Rosedale Park, and I see the police giving someone a ticket, a blight ticket. And I jumped out. I said, what's going on with this house? The house had bushes and trees all around it. He said, we've been giving this man tickets for 2 years. I don't think he want the house or something. I literally took the ticket, went downtown to the courthouse, found out who the man was, called him, met up with him, and ended up buying the property from me.
Wow. How much?
$6,500.
Wow. So okay. So now from the 17,000, 6,500
to the crib.
Wow. Okay.
Got into that crib and just basically cleaned it up, built it up room by room. I tarped off the whole house and just cleaned out the bathroom and 1 bedroom. Yeah, I took some money and had the bathroom redone, new tub, toilet, new floor, and then just got me a space heater,
Wow.
air mattress. I think I just posted that up the other day. Air mattress. Friends gave me some covers and blankets and stuff. Wow. So, and I mean, you couldn't tell me I wasn't living in a mansion though.
Right.
You know, from where I'm coming from, I see the progress coming.
Right.
I see how God is placing small, breadcrumbs in front of me to lead me to this point.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's such a powerful story though, because it's like this devastation happens where you get left, you're homeless, you don't have a job, you're trying to figure things out. You say, all right, I'm gonna something that's small, right? And I'm everything is relative, but something as small as, yo, I'm going to create rubber bands,
Yes.
right, and sell those rubber bands, and you were able to do that, and that sort of set you up to number one, beat homelessness, right? So now but now you own a home that you can build wealth with
Yeah.
ultimately. Yeah.
And I was one of the first, well, I'll say the second person in my whole family. Not, I'm the first person in my immediate family to own a home, but like the second out of my cousins and everything like that, the second person to own a home. So it was like very monumental.
Wow.
This even having at home. And like I said, I tarped off the kitchen, the living room, the dining room, and just stayed in the bedroom with my heater.
Yep.
Used the bathroom, and then just room by room, as I get a little bit more money off the rubber bands, I'll fix this room up. I'll fix this room up. It took me maybe about after I moved in, it took me about 7 months to get the rest of the house to livable.
Yeah.
Not really like up to date, just livable.
And what are you doing? Are you still selling your okay?
Still selling rubber bands.
Yep.
And I'm using that money now for Home Depot. Home Depot runs, or maybe meeting somebody on the street who say I'm a contractor of some sort.
Yep.
Allowing them to fix something in the house or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just grinding it up. And then that's when I started selling the shirts. And from the shirts, there's a group in Detroit called the Detroit Youth Choir. The Detroit Youth Choir looked out to me and said, hey, can we get some shirts to say believe in DYC? Detroit Youth Choir's in the initials. They were on America's Got Talent at this time. So I hustled up on the $400, got the shirts, but I didn't have the money to send it to them. So I talked to Mr. White. He was like, don't worry about it. When we come back, we'll just wear them at home. They came back, ended up coming in second place, but the city of Detroit had a parade for them. And I gave them all the shirts. They put them on that day. And the city of Detroit ended up giving them $1 million. And the prize that they gave back to the mayor and to everybody, as far as the people who got the money for them, was the shirts. They said believe in DYC. So that's what kind of sparked, far with the city downtown, and people understanding what they believe in Detroit, believe in DYC was.
Wow. And then so now, take me to your last $7, and you gotta borrow 20.
So a couple months prior in the past, let's say October 2019, Detroit Youth Choir wanted to go to Shinola. I ended up meeting the owner of Shinola, and we did a tour. And as we walk into one of these rooms, it's dirty everywhere. I guess they didn't clean up the night before. Then the first thing she said was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize. Our cleaning company is terrible." I'm like, "Oh, I got a cleaning company." And just being very witty of, like I said in the book, paying attention to all the inches around you. That's all we need is just, if we can figure something out. Like I was just here in Atlanta, went to H&M before I got here, and I seen a young lady walking through there who I knew that wasn't hired by H&M. I said, she has to have her own cleaning contract. And that's exactly what she told me. Like, yeah, I clean 2 H&M, but I need some help. I need this. So now I'm trying to make sure a partnership with her here in Atlanta. But that's what I did at Shinola was.
And Shinola is what type of?
Shinola is a watch company in
Okay.
Detroit. A watch company and a hotel. They have a hotel in the city of Detroit. So I told them, like, hey, I have a cleaning company. They're like, all right, give us a proposal. Man, I didn't never get no proposal. So I went home and Googled everything I should Google, and the numbers I was seeing, I wasn't believing that this is how much a person can charge for cleaning. So I just made up my own price of 6,500 or 6,700.
Wow.
And that was enough to pay the clients, pay my employees,
Yep.
and for me to walk home with like $2,000 a month. And I was happy.
Yeah.
I contacted my friend, a mentor of mine named Horatio Williams.
Big H.
Yeah, Big Ace. Appreciate it. He told me about the FOIA. He said, man, you need to request a FOIA for the last contract. I didn't even know what the FOIA was. I didn't know you can do none of this. So I ended up sending them a FOIA to get the previous contract. And you have to remember, like I said, mine was 6,700. I'm trying to just shoot just enough just to pay my bills. And when I got the previous contract, it was 18,000. So I was about to leave 12,000.
Jeez.
12,000 on the floor.
Yeah.
You
And not just 12,000. This 12,000 a month.
a month.
Right.
Yeah, 12,000 a month. And that's why I tell people who are in the cleaning business, do your research.
Yeah.
Understand the pricing. If it says it's 40 cents a square foot, it's 40 cents a square foot. Don't try to change it to please the client, because you're going to end up being the one that pays on the back end. So after that, pandemic is coming around. So what I ended up doing was, with the pandemic, I would go on LinkedIn and find anybody with a Shinola email, and I would CC 15, 20 people and tell them, hey, this is what I found far as that can kill COVID. Because at the same time, I'm studying the CDC now. I'm studying what chemicals kill what bacteria, what viruses, whatever it may be. Anything I find on CDC, I'm emailing to 15 different people who are either just regular employees or even like higher ups. And the pandemic came. So now we're in the house. I can't go out selling no rubber bands. I can't get my hustle on, no how, no way. So now I just have to be in the house. But the good thing was I did have a house,
Right.
to reside in.
Yep. Right. Because now that I think about it, and that's why my heart always goes out to, those who, who don't have a home.
Yeah.
But can you imagine living in a van
During
those times? And it's cold, right?
Cold,
Because
it's cold
it's
out.
Detroit.
Yeah.
So we know it's cold in Detroit. And so around COVID, it's cold.
Yeah.
And so, wow. Yeah.
I would have ended up probably having to be at a shelter,
Right.
or, no one wants you to stay with them at
Right.
the time. Ain't nobody like, if you ain't in my house now, I ain't coming in. Yeah. So that was the blessing I look at as that God blessed me being able to have a foundation to be able to figure it out. But as COVID's going on, I'm watching CNN, Wuhan, China, and they're walking up the street blowing some type of fog in the air, and people are just walking through the fog like regular. And I'm like, if it started there and they using this, why can't we use this over here and we can get everybody out? So my help came in, like, how can I help everybody get out the house, get back to work? And I'm like, this is what it is. So I ended up Googling it. It was an electronic fogger, but it just wasn't the fogger. It was the chemicals that you put inside the fogger. So I started advertising on Instagram and Facebook that I got a cleaning company and different things like that. And then the church.
And you hadn't had it, like, you just,
I ain't had nothing.
we ain't had none of that.
I had no cleaning company. Well, but you know what? I always tell people I'm a professional cleaner, because I had a mother who will come home after work, and if you ain't did your chores, she gonna wake everybody up, slamming the doors, get your butt up, do them chores. So I've been cleaning since I was 7. If I had the kitchen on Tuesday, the bathroom on Wednesday. So, but yeah. So my whole goal was just to figure out how can I get people back outside, and ended up getting this fogger, and I started marketing on Instagram and Facebook, and then the church just hit me up like, hey, can you come do a cleaning? I did a walkthrough, total $1,500, and the job I needed to do only needed to buy $27 worth of product. We say I only had 7.
Right.
So I borrowed 20, went and bought all the products that I needed, and went and did the job. I want to say I did it March 21st, actually on my birthday in 2020. And halfway through that job, they recommended me for another church.
Wow.
And halfway through the second job, they recommended me for a third church.
Wow.
So within 3-4 days, I done made $4,500 just for cleaning these churches.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
It's no other way I'm going back selling rubber bands
Right.
or no streets, no nothing. I'm straight clean.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Wow. And that's such a beautiful story of resilience, of really just because you mentioned this, and I I want to not glaze over that. You in your intro you said you're a God-fearing man, right? And I think that that's important to point out because I think a lot of people only attribute themselves, or they don't focus too much on how faith had a lot to do with where you are, right? So showing that active faith, right? And faith isn't just believing, right, in God, is knowing God, right? So like one of my mentors, Myron Golden, once said, somebody asked him like, "Yo, man, do you believe in God?" He said, "Man, I don't only believe in God, I know God."
I know.
We're like, yo, like what's the difference? It's like, you could believe in something, but if you don't take action, you can't prove that belief system, right? Like if you believe that if you work hard, you can have anything you want, but you don't work hard, then you believe it, but you don't know it. You don't know that if you work hard, you're gonna get anything, right? It's the same thing with God. It's like, yeah, you could believe, like, yeah, I believe God, yeah. But do you know God? Have you tested God? Have you, and so the fact that like you've tested God, like God, right? Like you've been able to say, all right, this thing happened to me. It set me up in this direction, but I'm a still keep going, right? I'm gonna still kind of put the pieces. I'm gonna still manifest, right? I'm still gonna, again, move in the right direction. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love
Well,
it.
I've been searching for God my whole life. I remember, being young, having in order to play basketball on the weekend, I had to go to church.
Yeah.
Had to walk up 3-4 blocks, and to a Catholic church. Then I said, I'm gonna go move with my grandmother. So it was no difference. I had to go walk to a Baptist church, and then I seen Malcolm X, the movie, when I was in the 5th grade, and I said, oh, that's what I want to be Muslim. So I studied Islam for 5-6 years. They never took my shahada due to the fact my mother wouldn't let me. Because back then in the day they used to always say, well, most Muslims in Detroit come from jail.
Yeah.
I don't want you to be connected with that or whatever. But I've been searching for God my whole life, just trying to find the truth. So I know we got, like you say, I know God.
Yeah.
It's past believing. Now it's about faith.
Facts. Yeah.
And that's why that's crazy. That's my dog's name, Believe in Faith. But like me and God got a one-on-one. We have a one-on-one conversation all the time.
Sure.
Like in order to survive the things that I'm going through, I feel like it takes a different prayer every day.
1000%. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a lot of people go, dude, what church you go to? And God is inside you. This is the temple. Right?
Yeah, and it's funny you say that because I think that's the true demonstration of God is knowing that, like knowing that God is within you.
Yes.
And I think that a lot of times, there are people who believe in God who, through their believe that it's about congregating, and being able to have a status, if you will. But when God talks to me, is not a, what would they say? Is not a conference call, right? Like God is talking to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so your business is truly community oriented, right? And like a lot of the things that you do focuses on the community. How has that helped or hurt you as as you're building out this business and getting to this multi-million-dollar status? And just for the record, so we're not saying he's the $27 millionaire. Like, you've been able to get multi-million-dollar contracts through your cleaning business. Talk about that first before we talk about the community aspect, because I think that especially in this space of people talking about their stories, that it's important to know that, again, through your business, you've generated this money, you've paid out people, like you've really built a business that generates millions of dollars. Talk a little bit about from this 18,000 a month to being like all of the major things that you've done with your company.
Well, we've like he said, we've hired over 2,000 returning citizens. Clean Ford Field at the Beyonce, Taylor Swift. Comerica Park is where the Detroit Tigers play. Little Caesars Arena is where the Detroit Pistons play. Houston NRG with the Houston Texans. Seattle Mariners, their stadium. It goes Boston. We're in Boston now doing government contracting. We even like built the stages, for multiple concerts. Pink, Garth Brooks. I've really done it all. But like you said, being able to come from $27 to having several multi-million-dollar contracts, you just got to be ready for it, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of responsibility that comes with it that people don't see.
Yep.
And that's really like on the back end, understanding your how to budget, how to make a contract, understanding the credit side, making sure you got some type of business credit. Because I feel like I was the spokesperson for trying to grind it up. That's really not the way, and people will say, oh man, I got it out the mud. No, I don't want to get it.
Yeah, facts.
Learning the right way, having business credit, going to the bank and getting a line of credit.
Yep.
Putting your money up and using the bank's money and different things like that. So, a lot of people call me all the time and like, hey, I just started a cleaning company. I want to do the stadiums. And I'm like, what have you cleaning? Like, oh, I got 2 old ladies. I'm cleaning their houses right now. I'm like, no, that's a process.
Right.
You want to be able to start at residential to understand the whole what it takes to clean, because there's nothing like a residential cleaning. Because I'm gonna say, hey, I need my house clean, but you missed this spot over here. So it prepares you for those bigger contracts doing.
And so that, I mean, that actually like helps me with my next question, because people are always like you said, people are always contacting you, asking you about advice with how what to do as it relates to your cleaning business. So you started a like online academy, the Cleaners Academy, where you're like literally like a lot of the things that you talk about, literally walking people through how to start a cleaning business, the type of mindset they need for the cleaning business. When they get to that point, like when's that point that how to negotiate certain contracts. Like talk a little bit about why you started the academy and what can people get from the academy.
At first, I didn't really think I was ready to do an academy or college or however you want to look at it as far as for cleaners. But I was getting so many emails, DMs about how to start a cleaning company, or if they already have a cleaning company, how to take it from residential to corporate, or even from corporate to stadiums. So I wanted to share the love, like help someone. At first, I felt I would be on the phone for an hour, 2 hours, and giving somebody all the gems that I have, about how to take their cleaning company to the next level, whatever I felt like I can help them do. And then I would say it got overwhelming. I got 5, 6 calls a day, and it's free calls, and I'm just giving out all the information. So I say, let me go ahead and with your help, let us go ahead and start the University of Cleaning, and to help people to understand about how to, like I said, budget is the main thing. You don't never want to under budget and tell a person, I do it for $100, but it's gonna cost you $100 in supplies. It's small. I have people calling about EINs, LLCs. I mean, from every level, someone can call and get some information from. If it's about what invoice system I use. So if you're trying to start a cleaning company, if you already have a cleaning company, we can take you to that next level.
Yeah, and I love that though too, because again, a lot of times you see people who get a certain knowledge or information, and they keep that information to themselves. Yeah. But again, and then this is going back to one of the questions I asked about the community, right? Like you've always been, for the community, helping the community. How has that affected your business? Has it helped your business? Has it hurt your business? Kind of like leading with this community first mentality.
I feel like it helped my business tremendously. First off, helping people is, as far as at first I'm helping them learn about cleaning. It's almost like my tithes. You know, I have to like help somebody out somehow, some way. But being a community driven business has helped us tremendously. I would say one of the ways is that marketing, word of mouth,
Yeah.
is one of the biggest and best ways to market.
Yeah.
And then just helping my people. And then sometimes when I put out job posters and different things, other people, I've had hundreds and thousands of shares because that particular person felt like I didn't share this. I'm helping somebody. So, you know, it goes from me to the next person who may have a job at one of the big three or something in the city of Detroit, but let me send my cousin down here because he need a job. Now I feel like as that person, I have did my just due. But being a community driven business has helped me tremendously.
Yeah, and I love that, and that's one of the reasons why you know, when we were talking about the University of Cleaning, that was one of those things that not only does it, you know, again it aligns with, you know, your spirit of giving, but it also aligns with you know, the concept of teaching people how to fish.
Yes.
Right. You know, I've had you know, I've had other clients that have started cleaning businesses, and I really think that this is, you know, the barrier of entry is so low, but it's so lucrative, right? Because when you think about, you know, it is the things that you don't necessarily think about, right, that become the opportunities that could really help set you up, you know. And I think that's really a key thing, is that, all right, you know, as a person who you know, is doing this business, that you can't, you know, you can't get all the contracts, right? There's so many different contracts. So let me teach you, right? Let me teach you how to do it yourself. And then what you've done in Detroit, you could do in Atlanta. You know, other people worldwide could do this. And again, the you know, the barrier to entry is low. It's just knowing the nuances, knowing the things that you've actually done, and just kind of teach, especially if somebody doesn't know business or they don't know how to like approach it. You know, this is a great way to, you know, get them in there.
Yeah, cleaning is the #1 industry in the world, honestly. When I was just talking to someone at the hotel yesterday, 'cause everything needs to be clean.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is, where you're at, where every building closed. I mean, there's several different levels of cleaning. Someone just asked me yesterday, if you had $1,000, what kind of business would you start? I told them a window washing company. You know, because there's a lot of, every downtown is nothing but windows. You know, you can go to every dealership, they have nothing but windows. So I would start me a window cleaning business or something in cleaning, because it's gonna be here forever.
Yeah.
When the company closed down, you're gonna be the last one to leave.
And so in your book, you talk about the importance of seeing opportunities where you see obstacles. Give me an example of, and again, like, I know you go through a lot of ups and downs, even as a business owner. Give me an example of, you know, how this perspective helped you like secure some major contracts.
For instance, like I just said, when I just went to H&M, I seen a young lady walking through there with her regular clothes on. So that's an opportunity right there, yeah, to see how I can either team up with her, or even how, if she can give me some information on how to get H&Ms in Detroit. You know, you have to really pay attention to everything around you. Yeah. What I mean, the building we're in, when I walked in, you know, I said, I wonder who's cleaning this building, who's cleaning the hallways and different things.
Yeah.
So we have to look at everything as an opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, whatever your business is, whatever the field you're in, try to figure out how you can better the situation around you.
Yeah.
Of all the time. If you're selling real estate and you're out of town, try to see where the cheap real estate at. Or do your research and see if, for instance, like the Beltline here, I know, let's just say they built it 10 years ago. 11 years ago, if you would have bought this property around the Beltline, you'll be a multi-millionaire. So just start learning about the opportunities that's around you.
And so Nat, like, where did that mindset come from though, right? Because, like, you know, a lot of people, you know, don't look at obstacles or everyday things as opportunities. Like, is that something you learned along the way? Is that something that you know, a characteristic you always had? Where did that mindset come from?
When I was homeless, I had a book called The Isms by Dan Gilbert. And those are one of his 19 isms, is that take advantage of the inches around you. You know, so, and I've always said, well, if he's a billionaire thinking like this, why can't I think like him also? So it just really, like I said, one of the number one ism is take advantage of the inches around. So I would say that mindset I will come from Dan Gilbert.
And so, I know myself as somebody who, as an entrepreneur, I've generated millions of dollars. Um, I grew up in the projects too. I had this false reality about money. Like I thought that, when Biggie used to be like, more money, more problems, I'd be like, yeah, right. Just give me the money. Like, ain't no way you gonna got no problem. How you gonna have more problems when you have money?
Yeah.
And I realized that it is absolutely true. Like more money, more problems. What's the biggest lesson that you've learned, um, through being able to generate millions of dollars?
There's a couple lessons. So in this corporate world, as far as me being maybe sometimes the only black man in the room, I have to let them feel like they're smarter than me. You know, I have to sit. I can't really share my ideas all the time because I don't want them to think that I'm trying to outshine them.
Wow.
And as far as the people who hire my company.
Yeah.
And then being able to understand everybody, because now people are looking at you at a different light, and they feel like you can solve all their problems. And just understanding people and making sure they understand you, because now, you know, when I first started the business, I would get a call all the time, man, I need to borrow this, I need it. No. You know, so now you're gonna get a lot of friends and cousins and stuff to come out the woodworks that's really looking for help or looking for something. They ain't looking for the help, because I can give you a job to make some money.
Right.
But that ain't the part you want. You just want to get the money.
Yeah.
You don't want the job with it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people ask me, like, being in Detroit and being broadcast about having a multi-million-dollar company where you feel safe. I feel like I'm here. I'm on God's time. You know, so that's one of the biggest things. Is just more so not trying to outshine the master.
Yeah.
As I say.
Yeah. And that's important though too, because I think that a lot of times people again don't realize don't realize like the nuances that happen as you're working with with certain people. And do you see it as because it's like a cleaning, because you're cleaning, that the people that hire you are like, do they look down on like what you're offering? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it one of those situations where like, oh, this is just a cleaning company, and so you know what I'm saying, I could get anybody to clean,
Yeah. I wouldn't say it would look down on me, because some of them are. Cause now, what I did do was, at a certain point, as far as having a cleaning company, you're going to have to learn about staffing. You know, so I tell everybody, when you get to 10 to 15, 20 contracts, now you're going to have to become a staffing agency, unless you're going to go out and hire another staffing agency. So a lot of times, some of the cleaning companies are hiring my staffing company.
Okay, gotcha.
Because they may need 50, 60 people to do a job, and they can't get the people, so they'll come to us. But I wouldn't say they'll look down on me, because they know that it's a job to be done.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they're getting a nice little piece of money on top. They just need us to finish the job out. And then I come with so many different things, like minority certification. So any company that's hiring me, they're going to get some type of tax break. Detroit-based business, that helps too, for companies in the city of Detroit. But I wouldn't say they look down on us. I'd just say they just probably, at first, me being a black guy, don't think that the job is going to be done as high of a level as it is.
Yeah.
They like, because when I first got one of my bigger contracts, I felt like I was a guinea pig, because the stadiums was looking for that company to fail. And I think they were like, well, we hired this guy and was going to try to throw it on me. Right up. But we did so much of an amazing job that it was like, okay, let's go to the next stadium. So I do feel like sometimes in my career, there was a possibility of them like, let's just use him as the scapegoat.
Right.
Well, we hired this company, tried to give him a shot, and they didn't fall through, but everything fell through perfectly. And You know, it was like pie in their face, cake in their face.
What's next for Mario Kelly?
What's next is Believe in AI.ai is a new company that I'm with, and it's a call center AI with emotional intelligence to have a 10 to 40-minute conversation with Emily. She's a bot that knows your business in and out, where you have no abandonment calls, no wait time. So I'm sort of moving towards AI. You know, the cleaning and the staffing is still there. It's just about being able to pivot in this game. And AI is really, if you're not gonna get with it, you're gonna get rolled over. You know.
And I love that though too, right? And that, because that actually helped me with another question. Like, I technology at some point, I think, will replace humans cleaning. Even, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get served you because I love looking at technology and AI and things of that nature. So I've seen, like machines that like clean out whole bathrooms.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, all through AI technologies, AI robots and things of that nature. And so I'm glad to hear, like, you venturing into AI.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that. Like, was that a passion of yours, but or is it you just also always just kind of being a step ahead and looking at different opportunities, or being open to opportunities?
I would say I wouldn't. It's not a passion. But I use InvestFest. InvestFest this year, 2024. I use it as like an investor's platform. So I was looking for something to invest in, the next thing that was coming. It would be invest, and I ended up meeting a guy down there at InvestFest named Gabe, and he's an AI bot itself, basically. But to say he know everything about
The human AI.
yeah, he's the human AI. Yeah. So me and him got to talking, and he was like, "Man, I think you need this phone." Because when we were talking, I'm getting 10 phone calls. He's like, "You need to have this phone, this AI bot that I'm putting together." And once we got to talking about it, I said, "Oh shit, I got to invest in that." And it was at the very beginning of him. He's quit his job 10 months ago, and to put this data together. Now at the beginning process, but he needed some help, some money, needed somebody to motivate him, and that's where it started right there. So I wouldn't. But if you're not trying to figure out about the next thing with AI or any, you might as well just become an employee.
Yeah. And the great thing about it, like I said, obviously I know a lot of the information through knowing you personally. And this is why I say the difference between believing in God and knowing God, right? Pete, this, a lot of the connections that you built through your cleaning business are a lot of the same clientele that you are introducing Believe AI to, and these, right? So these multi-million-dollar contracts are now, oh, I have this multi-million-dollar contract, so I have access to these people already. Hey, let me show you what I could do with Believe AI, and now Believe AI is helping so many of these organizations. But so who knows, right? Like, I truly believe this is $1 billion enterprise, right? And so, we might have to redo the book. The $27 billionaire, right? Because when you think about, $27 is what it took for you to get started, 20 of that which was borrowed. Now you have these multi-million-dollar contracts, but the story doesn't end there, right? Exactly. So now this next thing that may lead to the next thing that leads to the next thing is the thing that starts you off, but ultimately we don't know where it's gonna take you, right? And so this is a testament for my insiders that are watching, that sometimes you may think the most smallest, insignificant thing, this idea that you have, is a hunch, but you have to act on that hunch, right? I believe, intuition is God talking to you, right? When you have that gut feeling and it says, yo, do something, no matter how small you may think the idea is, it is God talking to you, right? When you got that hunch to do the rubber bands got you, was that hunch that you needed, got you, a place when you needed it the most.
Yeah.
That hunch that you got to, let's do some t-shirts, got you national, exposure, and got people, really, believing, pun intended, believing in what you got, what you do, right? From there, get you, your cleaning company. From there, get you to believe in it. So we don't know what's next. What advice, right, as we close out, what advice are you giving to any entrepreneur, whether they're just starting out or they've been on a journey, but they're hitting a rough patch? What advice do you have for them?
I got a couple of things. The first one is money and numbers follow, they don't lead. A lot of times people are doing it for the money, or chasing the money. Or, I've seen the logo of a guy chasing a bag of money and there's money flying out. If you build something great, it's gonna come. So just focus on building something. Don't focus on how much money you can make. Don't focus on no millions. Focus on building something great, and the money will come.
Yeah.
And then anyone who's an entrepreneur out there, I don't care what you're doing, what field you're in, get certified. Minority certification is going to help take your business to the next level. I don't care if you're a photographer, if you're an actress, cleaning company, whatever it may be. So you can have your name on this list of certified, minority certified people or businesses. So when companies come to your city and they're looking for a tax break, they can go to the website and pull your name off. Believe 313 Clean. We will have them clean the Super Bowl. We'll have them clean the NFL draft, and we'll still get these tax breaks. Because just because we're black or minority women don't mean that you can get those tax breaks. You have to be certified. So that is something I always tell all entrepreneurs. Make sure you get certified in your state, because it's any state you're in, you can get certified.
All right, powerful, powerful. All right, y'all. So look, I think couple of call to actions, right? I need y'all to definitely tap in. I'm gonna put all the links in the description. I need y'all to tap in. I need y'all to get a few copies of the $27 Millionaire. Definitely talks about the isms are in there. Really, Mario's journey, but it's also a guide. It's a step-by-step guide. If you want to learn, how to use your resilience, how to start a business, how to really just get to the next level of your life, you want to pick that up. But then you also want to tap into the University of Cleaning. Make sure y'all tap in. Get acquainted. You too can start your own cleaning business. If people wanted to connect with you, where can they find you?
Instagram or social media is Believe 313 Staffing. YouTube is Believe 313 Staffing. And then my email is believe313staffing@gmail.
There we go, y'all. We are closing out the vault. Another awesome episode of Inside the Vault with Ash Cash, the greatest money mindset show on the planet. Make sure you go to InsideTheVaultShow.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at Inside the Vault. Me, I am Ash Cash. Make sure you visit me, IamAshCash.com. Follow me on all social media platforms at I am Ash Cash. We'll see you next time. Same place, in God's will. All right, y'all.